Today I fucked up by spraying vomit all over my perfect date's place. Tale as old as time, I'm sure, but today it happened to me. So I, 27M, have been chatting with this girl, 27F, on Tinder I like a lot. I've never really found anyone I liked on the app before. She hasn't either, and she was very hesitant to go out with someone she only knew online. She actually ended up telling me she didn't feel ready to go out with someone new. Then after a few weeks of silence she randomly asks me out. We share a few drinks, laughs and deep conversations, then she invites me to her place. I'm feeling ecstatic, of course. I've never even kissed a girl since breaking up with my long-term GF 6 months ago, so this was beyond my wildest hopes. You know what happens next? We get to her place, I sit on her bed and I realize I'm going to be sick immediately. This went from 0 to 100 in a second. It was so violent and sudden that I didn't even have time to explain. I just got up and started walking in a random direction, hoping to find the bathroom. I'm covering my mouth with my hand, but the flow is so intense that it drips on my clothes and on the floor as well. I have only had 2 glasses of wine, same as her, so there's really no justification for any of this. She helps me to get back in shape as she can, then she suggests I sleep in the guest room. I think she actually asked if I wanted to go back to my place, but I wasn't in condition to even walk, let alone drive. So here's me 4 hours later in the guest room. It's 3 AM and I'm feeling 100% well rested, sober and ashamed. I'm unsure about what my exit strategy should be and if I have any chance to see this girl again after confirming her hesitations about online dating. Part of me just wants to get up, clean up what's left of the mess and GTFO, but I'm afraid to wake someone up. She has 2 roommates. On the other hand, there's no way I can get any sleep tonight, and staring at the ceiling for the next 5 hours waiting for people to wake up is not a good prospect. Any thoughts? TLDR, vomited all over my first date's place, now staring at the ceiling of her guest room and wishing I could dissolve into thin air. Wait it out, help her clean it up and hopefully she'll be understanding. You're human, you obviously got food poisoning or something, she can't be angry at you for it. Maybe reach out to her in a couple days and try to laugh off the whole situation. If you really like her, it's worth trying to see her again. It's def a memorable first date. Can I offer you a nice egg in this trying time? If she didn't enjoy your company, she would have driven you straight home so she didn't have to deal with you anymore. That's what I would have done. I think you have a fair shot with this girl. Help her clean up in the morning and be honest with her. Tell her you enjoyed your date and you really hate how it ended. See how she reacts. Good luck. Go clean quietly until it's as spotless as you can make it. Tick move to make someone else clean it. Unfortunately the ship had sailed. I got up early in the morning, but they must have cleaned up everything while I was completely KO. For my BF and I's first date, he came over to my house for dinner and drinks. Well, we had a few too many and he ended up throwing up all over my lap and couch. He kept trying to hug me as I led him into the bathroom to shower him off. While starting the shower he sat on the sink and completely broke the counter in half. Almost 4 years later and here we are, lol. Today I fucked up by asking my neighbor to stop smoking in front of my door, leading to a fight involving a human shit. Obligatory. This happened 10 years ago because I was just going through my Facebook memories, and it popped up a post that referenced this incident. March 12, 2011 #never forget. I lived in an apartment building. Just picture your typical apartment complex, 3 stories, with outdoor breezeways and 4 units per floor. I lived on the 3rd floor, and my neighbor lived directly across from me. I had recently quit smoking. The neighbor who lived across from me had developed a habit of chain smoking every morning and night, right outside my door. He kept flicking cigarette butts in the breezeway. It was really gross, and, on top of that, the cigarette smoke was getting into my living room. So as someone who had recently quit, this really made my life difficult. On top of that, some people knew I was a smoker and thought that I was leaving the cigarette butts on the floor. I asked him, tried to be polite about it, if he could please not smoke in the hallway. He seemed annoyed but basically gave me an okay whatever response. The evening of March 11, 2011, It's spring break, and since it's a college town, not many people were around. Only a few of us seemed to be around the complex at all, including my neighbors upstairs. On this day all of us on the third floor received a letter on our door about the cigarette butts and complaints of the smoke smell. It was a letter that contained statements such as, "We ask that you please use the designated smoking areas, and if this continues, a cleaning fee will be issued to you." Then, on the morning of March 12, 2011, the unthinkable happened. I'm about to head out of the apartment. I open the door. Neighbor is there, of course, with his fucking cigarette. And I step on my doormat and immediately, I step in something. I watched my neighbor throw his cigarette on the ground, run inside the apartment, and then heard him going to his roommates. Oh my fucking god, you guys, she fucking stepped in it. She fucking stepped in it. What was it, you ask? Well, for the title of this post you may gather that it was a human shit. I mean, it didn't exactly test the DNA to see what species this shit came out of, nor do I have any idea if this is even scientifically possible. Nor did I need to, because I feel that we recognize the feces of our own kind, whether this individual squatted directly over my doormat, whether they pooped in their own residence before gingerly placing it on my doormat. It was clear as day to me that this came out of a human asshole. And it was big, too, like 10 inches long at least. Can't properly emphasize enough how huge this shit was. It must have taken me 10 to 20 seconds to process what the fuck just happened. Am I in the Twilight Zone? Did I just step in shit? Despite my bewilderment, it wasn't hard to figure out who the culprit was. With so few people in the building and this dipshit being salty about the smoking complaints, he must have thought the letter was prompted by me, and I guess he figured the correct response was to shit, I guess. To his credit, he got me pretty damn good. He left it there, and was there to watch me dunk my foot into it, like a fry to catch up. My first instinct was to take my shoe, let it soak on some disinfectant. I think I ultimately ended up throwing it out. Then I took a wad of paper towels from my apartment, picked up the giant mound of shit that remained on my doormat, and then I took the shit and smacked it on their door. The paper towel fell of the shit, and it stuck to their door at eye level. Just stuck to it like wet earth and clay. I believe that there are very few people on this planet who have ever seen how a turd looks when it's been smacked against someone's door, and stays there. In a bizarre way, I actually kinda feel honored to have witnessed something so hilarious. About an hour later, I'm in my apartment and suddenly I hear the dudes in that apartment going, "Oh, what the fuck?" Apparently when they opened their door, which opened inward, they did so with enough force to send pieces of the shit flying towards them, and all little pieces got all over their floor. I open my door and I see them picking up the pieces of shit. I ask them, "You like having shit on your doormat? You like opening your door and seeing shit?" So that's when a fight broke out. They messed with the wrong person, recently quit smoking, on edge, and just stepped in feces. I yelled at them. They yelled at me. "It's your shit. I'm just giving it back to you." They went, "You're crazy, it wasn't US. A bear probably came up and did it." You think a bear came up several flights of stairs and took that gigantic fucking turd on a doormat? Question mark. It was just back and forth. They're calling me psycho, which yeah, I mean, I definitely was being a psycho, but come on, you took a shit on my doormat. That's way worse. Finally, I said, "Look, you're disgusting pieces of trash, and you need to deal with your own disgusting shit. It's not my fault you couldn't use a toilet, like some kind of unhousebroken Neanderthal." Eventually I left the apartment to go to work. The shit was still on their door and on the floor just in front of it. Hours later. Not my problem. I come back from work around midnight. What I saw when I got back. Holy shit. There was beer everywhere, mixed with what I believe to be piss. The shit was broken up and smeared all over the floor, the walls. Someone even wrote bitch in big brown letters. The smell was absolutely unholy. I actually called my boyfriend that night and said, "I have to stay at your place." I reported it to the leasing office. When I came back to the apartment, I saw this poor woman who was sent to clean and sanitize the breezeway. I felt so bad for her. I handed her a $100. Explained what happened and pointed to the door of the degenerates that caused it. She thanked me and I told her I was so sorry. From that point on, whenever I saw these guys they wouldn't smoke in the breezeway. I have no idea if they were reprimanded, but they never disrespected me again. Too long didn't read, neighbor kept smoking in front of my apartment. I asked him to stop, and when a letter went out after someone else complained, neighbor took a shit on my doormat. Shit replacement and other nonsense ensued. What a shitty neighbor. Well shit. Amazing neighborhood. There were definitely no hoethies, I can tell you that. That's called harassment, and next time you should just get the authority involved right away. Yeah, but that's not where my brain was at the time. The repartee was glorious. Today I fucked up by showing my ding dong to my mom. A few days ago mom asked me to take some photos of our city so she can print and give them to guests of our B&B. So the next morning I get up early and take some boo. Today I fucked up shots of the historic center, the beach, the boats, yada yada yada. Tonight, at the dinner table, she asks me to show her the pictures. I go take my reflex and show her. While we're going through the camera the display goes black and in my mind I go MH, that's it, there are no more pictures about the city, but I keep going anyway. And boom, there's a picture of my hand holding my slong that I took months ago for my sew and I completely forgot about. She looks at me and says, "What's that?" While laughing, I storm out of the kitchen and half an hour later I come back to have dinner and thank God she didn't mention it. I got way more embarrassed than she did. Too long didn't read, I showed a dick pic to my mom while going through the camera. I can't stop thinking about it. May. She made it so it's not new to her, lol. I was staying at my dad's for a hunting trip, to a shower, and he just walked in while I was drying off. Only thing he said was, "Good, I was hoping you'd take after my side of the family." Ever wonder how he knew about the penis sizes of your mother's side of the family? At least she didn't say, "You're still my tiny boy," or "Look at you all grown up." I can't stop thinking about it. Neither can she. Thanks, needed that. Until you mentioned you took the pic months ago, I thought you yada yada ed your dick. Was she disappointed you didn't inherit your father's genes?